Welcome to episode 290 of the Postal Hub podcast. I'm Ian Kerr. We're going to talk about parcel lockers in this episode. My special guest is Ann Snitko. Ann is the Chief Product Officer at Omnic, and we're going to talk about how to optimize parcel locker networks, the idea of co-opetition, the question of being carrier-specific or carrier-neutral, and a whole range of other topics relating to parcel lockers. So, let's get into it. Coming up in just a moment, Ann Snitko, Chief Product Officer at Omnic. Joining me on the line is Ann Snitko. Ann is the Chief Product Officer at Omnic. Ann, welcome. We're going to talk about some really key issues when it comes to parcel lockers, the parcel locker network, and even setting up parcel locker networks. Let's start with a little bit, though, about what Omnic is and what Omnic does. So just share with us a little bit about what Omnic is.
Short introduction about Omnic. So Omnic is an innovative partner who helps building efficient parcel lockers network all over the globe. And key here is partner, because we not just only share our expertise as independent consultant, helping building different puzzles together, but we also can be co-investor in particular markets, sharing some cost with our partners and our clients, and we can act as a contractor to fulfill some different services like production, support, and software development, etc. So all in all, we have been doing this for the past 10 years. So we've been gathering, distributing best practices and expertise in parcel lockers network. We do it full cycle to build and manage the efficient parcel locker network.
Now let's talk about the parcel locker market, because there's always a lot of discussion about the state of the market and where it's all heading. So just why don't you share with us just some of the current problems or issues that you see working with your clients, some of the issues that you see in the parcel locker market right now?
This is a very crucial question right now, because currently we are in the middle of tremendous growth at this market, because we have around more than 100,000 parcel lockers in Europe right now, and we have a potential to grow this market more than 5 times during the next 5 years. But the main issues that we have are still how to utilize these parcel lockers in the most efficient way and how to earn money, So this is what we see as an issue. And there are a few reasons why the market meets this kind of issue. So first, however, this business was designed as far from human-centric, it still has some very human issues. There are a lot of processes around parcel locker network that should be designed and implemented to make it efficient. So it's not about just the more you buy or the more you produce, it's the better. No, it's far from the truth. Another reason for this issue that we are meeting right now is lack of sustainability in this growth, because we see a lot of examples when in different markets we have different players, 5-7 players that are placed in the same locations, and this growth is very, very inefficient, because we use not unnecessary resources to produce these parcel lockers. We use a lot of resources to install them, resources to, design the processes around this parcel locker network, because it's still very big efforts that are required from company sides. And after that, instead of, one stop with 100 parcels, we have these few carrier stops with, 10, 15 parcels that he or she delivers to Parcel Locker. So yeah, that's why we think that these issues are the main currently, and they will influence on the market development for the next few years.
The phenomenon that you're talking about really is that when you see those clusters of parcel lockers with different carriers, so carrier A, carrier B, carrier C, and then each of those carriers being served by their own driver, and each of those drivers only dropping off whatever, like 10, like you said, 10 to 15 parcels instead of potentially what could it be? It could be 25, it could be 50 parcels, it could be 100 parcels per drop, I suppose. Looking at this problem of underutilization, the problem of the proliferation of parcel lockers, which will, let's be honest, eventually it'll translate into an issue for things like people like city planners who will say, why do we have all these lockers on the street taking up all this space if they're not fully utilized? How can we look at some of the human factors that are in it? Because we could talk about software and hardware. What about the human factors behind all of this?
Yeah, still, as I told before, this business was designed as far from human-centric, but it still has like very human-centric issues as well. So we're still striving with the processes that we need to implement to make each parcel locker network work and to be efficient, like how to load the parcel lockers. It seems like very simple step, like carrier gets and he or she delivers parcel locker to it, but still it's not, because it requires like more cognitive experience, and you just drop it at Pudo, for carrier, and that's why it takes like months, sometimes years, to get carrier to really love these kind of delivery options, because we saw a lot of examples when carrier, they were against this. They sabotaged this parcel locker delivery by themselves because I don't know.
So do you mean the delivery drivers were effectively sabotaging the parcel locker network?
Yeah. So it's like they sabotaged it because, for example, they could go to Pudo and put I don't know, hundreds of parcels there, or they deliver like 5 parcels to one parcel locker and they get less money. And this is real example that we met. So, and there are a lot of, such nuances in all these processes that we need to tune in order to create this efficient process where everyone will be happy, even like carrier, like drivers who load the parcels.
I think it's really interesting to take this broader picture view of parcel locker networks. We've had lots of discussions about carrier neutral versus carrier specific, and I think we might have a bit more of a discussion today about that. But talking about the human element of it, this is fascinating for me to talk about not just the human element, but remunerations for those humans, because there are humans who actually load the parcels into the parcel lockers. So coming back to this idea of you said open versus closed. No, what was it? It was carrier agnostic, carrier specific, and open. Now, most of us would have a fair understanding of carrier specific, carrier neutral, but then what's open mean?
Yeah, so open network, it's kind of implementation of shared economy in parcel locker network. So we have carrier specific that is closed and owned by one corporation. We have agnostic that have like multiple carriers just integrated in one. And we have open network. Then different parcel locker owners can cooperate in, different e-com players can cooperate and integrate in it, and different logistic carriers can work with it. So it's kind of like B2B sharing economy model.
Now, you mentioned this. You mentioned co-opetition before. Now, what do you mean by co-opetition in the parcel locker sense? What does it mean, and how can carriers approach this concept?
So, in our company, we believe that their market will shift to cooperation and co-opetition. Like what co-opetition means is that we compete in core things and cooperate in not critical things for business. And if we think about parcel locker market as an ecosystem, we have different stakeholders like location owners, logistic operators, parcel owners who can be logistic operators or some small entrepreneurs, if we are talking about like franchising business model, who a lot of companies starts to implement. And like parcel owners, like e-com players who actually owns the parcels and owns the traffic that is delivered to parcel networks. And by co-opetition, we mean that like creation these open platform where each stakeholder can connect and can integrate into it. And with their assets, like for example, if I own parcel locker, I can integrate to this open platform. And you as a logistic operator who can deliver and who can service this parcel locker also can join. And there are third player who has like e-com orders, e-com parcels, who ready to join it as well. We will create this open system where each of the players will get benefit, like shared economy, and will not invest like a lot of money on building this closed parcel locker network that some of the players actually do not need, because this is not their core business. And Jan, we've been developing this model since 2020. And actually, I really interested to hear your vision on that. Like, do you see any limitations, or I don't know, maybe your point of view on this open approach and shared economy in parcel locker network?
Well, I think the first thing that we all need to understand is what's happening in our own market. So what you might describe with the situation of having 7 carriers with 7 parcel lockers in one location, or even just having 7 parcel locker networks in one market, that might happen in, say, a Western European nation or a Central or Eastern European nation, but you might not see that happening in, say, other parts of the world where parcel locker networks is less developed, shall we say.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that there's a policy question, and I sort of hinted at that earlier. A policy question that will come from government sooner or later will be about the efficiency of last mile delivery. We've seen it already in some parts of Western Europe, and we'll see it across the world sooner or later. And the question from governments, whether it's a local government, like, for example, a city government, or a regional government, or even a national government, will be how many delivery vans do we have? So they'll probably start looking at vans, and then they'll narrow their focus sooner or later to be looking at the parcel locker network as well. So how are parcel lockers being utilised? Is there even, this is a dirty concept, everybody, but could parcel lockers be taxed, right? Because governments are always looking for revenue streams. And could they be taxed somehow, apart from simply renting out public space to parcel lockers? Could they be taxed on a per locker usage basis? Don't worry, everybody. I'm sure it'll never happen. But I think that, what does that mean, though? It means that there are going to be parts of the world where definitely partnerships will need to be entered into to create efficient delivery. There's a sustainability aspect to this as well. I've sort of talked about money and things like this, but there's sustainability. And increasingly, we're seeing governments paying attention to emissions, and they'll want to know, how can parcels be more efficiently delivered? And I've covered this a number of times on the podcast, and people are probably sick of hearing me talking about it. But I think that this is an important part of it as well. If you're coming up with a model that focuses on co-opetition, how can you sell the benefits of that to not just the stakeholders that we've mentioned, but also those external stakeholders who can somehow have an influence in our sector? And you've unwittingly sent me off on a rant there, I think. But that's just a few thoughts from my perspective. Obviously, it's just my opinion, man. But it's just a few thoughts from me.
Yeah, I totally agree that there will be other drivers as government, as you said, and also another driver that we can mention here is customers. Because customers right now are limited because they need, I have parcel lockers that is close to my apartment and I want to deliver there. But there are some companies that cannot deliver there and I am limited by their choice. So, yeah, and hopefully we'll see this shift, with all these drivers together, like benefits, like business benefits, sustainability, government and customers' influence will shift some business model that we are seeing right now.
And it also is partially about how we view parcel lockers. Now, do we view them, we, the public, I should say, not necessarily the delivery world, does the public view parcel lockers as part of infrastructure? The same way you might see a street or a water pipe as infrastructure. Can parcel lockers be considered infrastructure? And if so, under what circumstances? I know this is a bit of a philosophical question here, but I think it is actually also directly relevant to how co-opetition, as you've termed it, would function in various markets.
We've been thinking about this like for the past, I don't know, for the past several years. And we started to create these open parcel locker platform. So actually, in the case like software, where companies can get all the benefits that they get from their own parcel locker network, but they are going to be the part of the bigger parcel locker network. Because there will be different players on different markets, and it will not be limited by one market. It's going to be joint one. We started, to think about how to make this platform like very secure and very trustworthy. Because the main issue here is that all these stakeholders that we discussed before, they don't trust each other. They really have these trust issues. And we've started to use this blockchain technology, not just as fancy word, but as a technology who helps us to build this openness from the one side and privacy from the other side. And we believe that this open platform will allow us to join all these pieces together and give them all the benefits that they expect from this market, but still being more efficient, more sustainable, more innovative, etc. So this is how we see this co-opetition will work.
So let's talk a bit about the future then. So we've talked a lot about what's being done right now, but what about in the next couple of years? What's, in your opinion, the strategy for parcel lockers or alternative delivery?
For the past 10 years, I think that we've developed as a society a lot of innovations in case of logistic industry. We've started to develop drones delivery. We started to implement autonomous delivery. We have this example of rovers delivery. But still, I see that all these examples, they are far from being efficient. And our opinion is that next few years, focus of the industry for the next few years will be finding the perfect market fit for these innovations that were created in the past.
Now, in all of our discussions then about creating this parcel locker network with co-opetition as a central theme, where do the brands fit into all this? Like the e-commerce players, whether it's a DTC, direct-to-consumer kind of retailer, or even a marketplace, where do they fit into all of this?
So actually, they play one of the key roles in this ecosystem and right now. And for them, so it's not necessary right now to invest a lot of capital money to build their own network, but they still can have this increase in brand image and brand presence on the Parcel Locker network, they can have this reputation as innovative and sustainable company. And what is more important, they bring customers the service that they demand, that customers expect, without this big capital investment that Parcel Locker network required. So we have right now, actually we have right now the communication with one worldwide brand player, and actually this was the thought that they prove that they don't want to invest in like Parcel Locker network because it's not their key, it's not their core business thing. They don't know why they need it, but they still want for their customer to have a choice and to have an option to deliver to the Parcel Locker. And they don't still to be connected just with one. They want to be connected with different players on this market and to give like a wide range of services to their customers.
So a bit in the same way that a lot of these larger e-commerce retailers will seek to have a multi-carrier shipping arrangement. They won't limit that just to residential delivery. They'll be looking at doing the same thing for Parcel Locker delivery. So before we wrap up, let's talk about how you can manage Parcel Locker capacity in real time, because this is sort of underlying all of this is the ability to manage those volumes so that you don't have, some lockers that are always full and or worse, lockers that are underutilized. So can you just share a few points about how we can manage Parcel Locker capacity in real time?
Yeah, sure. So you're right that this is crucial because to make this model work, we need to give equal capacity to each player, And currently we have like 3 different instruments that we see as the most efficient in this problem solving. So first one we call like guaranteed access. Like, when companies, they have very good like logistic processes and they know exactly when the parcels will be delivered. So they can block the cell for themselves for 2-3 days or so for the short period of time. And when they deliver, they have like this guarantee that the cell will be empty. Another instrument is, we call it like Chinese type, because usually companies who deliver from China, they don't have, they have this delivery gap as like 15, 30, sometimes 30 days. And they okay, like not to block the cell for this period of time. And for them, they have like real-time instrument. So to check the capacity of the Parcel Locker just before they send like delivery to it. So this helps them not to have these stops when they don't have enough space to load the parcels. And the last one is predictability algorithm that we use. So actually we analyze based on different factors, like what capacity of Parcel Lockers will be like in the nearest like 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks. And then if we see that it is overloaded, we send notification to Parcel Locker owner that we need to add some modules. Or in case there is no opportunity to do so, this algorithm, it just reroute the parcels to the nearest like PUDO or nearest Parcel Locker.
So, Anne, we've covered a lot of ground here with regard to Parcel Lockers, not just understanding the market, understanding some of the technologies and the philosophies, I suppose, when it comes to Parcel Lockers. If people want to get in contact with you and the team at Omnic to find out more, where should they go?
Yeah, so in case you feel that open network is something that you are interested in, you can contact me via LinkedIn. It's really easy to find, like Ann Snitko, as you will see in a podcast description. Or you can visit our websites, is omnic.net. It's also very easy to find. So we'll be happy to connect and share some ideas about the future of Parcel Lockers network.
Ann Snitko, Chief Product Officer at Omnic. Thank you very much for joining us on the Postal Hub podcast today. Coming soon on the Postal Hub podcast, the electric van man himself, Paul Kirby, will join us to talk about what's holding back electric van adoption in the delivery world. Stay tuned for that episode and many more great interviews coming soon on the Postal Hub podcast. And how do you do that? Well, there are a couple of things you should do. I really highly recommend that you do. One is subscribe to the podcast in your favourite podcast platform, Spotify, Google Podcast, all them. And you can also subscribe to my email. I have a weekly email, which I send out whenever there's a new episode of the Postal Hub podcast. Go to thepostalhub.com and you'll see the links there to subscribe. While you're there, while you're in the process of visiting thepostalhub.com, sign up for the Daily Delivery Digest. It's a daily email with all the headlines from around the delivery world, free to your inbox every weekday. You can also follow me on LinkedIn if that's your thing. It's free as well, like all the stuff I seem to offer. It's free, so go over to LinkedIn and just follow me there for other postal and delivery related goodness. And if you want to email me about anything at all, my email address is ian@thepostalhub.com. I'm Ian Kerr. Thanks for listening in, and I look forward to your company next time on the Postal Hub podcast.